just have to say that the power of thought. When I was playing a concert the other night, and my friend was giving a little demonstration on the violin, the first thing that came to my mind was, how can I have him play with me? And then, boom, here we are, 2 or 3 days later. Can we all take a deep breath together? What else do we need? Has been said. Don't need more thoughts. There's enough in my head. Don't need to run away. No need to impress. No need for victory. Don't need more love when love wants to hide. I don't need more sorrow when it passes by. I just want to close my eyes, find a place to breathe. I just want to close my eyes, breathe. Don't need more grudges to have and to hold. I don't need to be afraid of growing old. Don't need to sell my soul for what I don't believe. I don't need more road maps to heaven or hell. I don't need to save the world from itself. I just want to close my eyes and find a place to breathe. Oh, I just want to close my eyes. Breathe. Oh.
my task is to discover and reveal what is most relevant and essential to my life's journey now, and to share whatever insights I get with people like you that might be receptive to these perspectives regarding their own life. With this in mind, I'd like to talk more about self-love. That's the theme for today, self-love. Oh, I know some of you are probably saying, groaning, are you kidding? Self-love is nothing more than being self-centered and narcissistic. But that's what we've been taught. That's not the truth. Self-love is the most important message that I can bring to you as a minister. And therefore, from time to time, I'm going to raise the subject again and again. We've already mastered fear and self-rejection. Now it's time to master self-love. For me, this is the year of self-love. Is it the year of self-love for you? I hope it is. We return to self-love by healing our emotional bodies so we can enjoy our lives. Be alive and create a life in such a way that we can openly share our love from inside out. And then the only thing left to do is just enjoy life. After hearing Dr. Lee Nutter last week, it occurred to me that it seems like a whole generation of baby boomers were raised by fathers who had World War II PTSD. My dad was one of those men. You know, he was a hardworking man. He wanted to make life better for his family. But to him, this meant buying bigger houses, more cars, boats, hampers, toys, which meant that he had to work long hours, do the work of 3 men, and then when he came home, he was totally exhausted and emotionally empty from the frustration and anger he'd been through all day. The last thing he wanted to hear from my mother was that one of us 4 kids needed discipline. He asked no questions. He just took that belt off, doubled it up, and started down the line. Even if it wasn't me getting the whipping, I was still having to watch another sibling. And the trauma was just the same. So he passed his PTSD on to me. As a young child, you know, the Father was my God. And when God punishes without mercy, I learned to fear and not trust God. And I carried this belief from childhood into my adulthood. Actually, when I left home at age 19, I was leaving with what my parents had given me, which was low self-esteem, no social skills, no communication skills, and 19 years of pent-up anger. So I had to ask myself, why was I their big disappointment? I know now, because my parents subscribed to an old idea that you raise children like you train a horse. You first break their spirit. My parents broke a lot of things, but they never broke my spirit. But I did learn to hate myself real well. I abused myself and beat myself up, worse than my parents had ever done. I beat myself up for my inadequacies, for my failures, my inability to speak up. But inexplicably, I continued to seek meaning, purpose, and spiritual awakening. Music brought me everything in life that I've ever wanted, including personal growth and emotional healing. I began to awaken to self-love after my first daughter was born. I loved her and her mother very, very much. And I was trying to find understanding in my world, while at the same time I was trying to keep that door to the closet with all my skeletons in it closed. I was 25. not mature enough to be a father, and too messed up to be in a normal relationship with a woman, whatever that is, normal. I had no tools to deal with the upsets that come with life. And one upset seemed to pile on another, and pile on another, and another, and another. Pretty soon I couldn't remember what the first upset was even about. And then everything would descend into a state of catatonic shutdown and silence. So when my wife left me, as she surely needed to do, I was devastated, but her leaving was a gift to me. Because somehow she awakened in me the knowledge that if I could learn to love myself, this would never have to happen again. Love is the greatest of all messages because from our love flows our happiness. Don Miguel Ruiz says, our happiness is equal in proportion to the amount of love that is coming out of us. A spiritual warrior is a warrior of the heart. A spiritual warrior is always looking for a better way to live life. Because we've been subjected to a domestication process by our parents and by society that we grew up and lived in. We have suffered from self-rejection, wounds of the emotional body, infected with the emotional poison of resentment, and the inability to forgive ourselves and others. My friends, it's not my intention to beat anybody up in here today by saying, you're doing it wrong. Because we've all been doing it wrong. But I cannot speak about love without also speaking about fear. Because I want us to understand how we got to where we are, as well as how we can change ourselves to find a better way to express our love, a better way to bring joy into our lives. I used to think that playing the violin was my purpose in life, but lately I've come to understand that it's not my purpose in life any more than your purpose in life is to drive a truck or a bus or be a doctor or a nurse, a school teacher, a gardener, a healer, a unity minister. This image that I created to express myself was only the pathway to discover my true purpose in life, which is to learn to love myself. This is nothing new, of course. We've all heard it before, but every time I have done digging work on myself to find those core beliefs that are creating this chaos in my life, when I boil away everything somebody else has said or done to me, when I boil away everything that I've said or done to myself, the residue at the bottom of the pan is always the same. If I just loved myself more, this wouldn't have hurt me. This wouldn't have bothered me. This wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have made me angry, sad, or afraid. How could we expect to love another human being if we can't love ourselves unconditionally? We can't. So what if we all share the same purpose in life, which is to learn to love ourselves? What if everything else we've ever done or do is just a way to project an image we have created of ourselves so that we can be liked and loved by others, so we can be accepted by our community? Welcome to Earth School, boys and girls. I was recently introduced to the work of Matt Kahn, author of the book, Whatever Rises. Love that. How many is familiar with that book, Matt Kahn? I was given the audio book. I'm not surprised. Let's roll over here. I was given the audio book of that book, and you know what? I'm not a big fan of authors reading their own stuff because a lot of times they just don't have the voice for it, and a lot of their idiosyncrasies and the sound of their voice can actually turn a person off to the deeper message that they're giving. But I was inspired by this book. And I started to repeat that title, Whatever Arises, Love That. And I thought it was working. I thought it was working for me, you know? This book, just gives us another roadmap to do healing work on ourselves that we must do in order to graduate to our next level of evolution. In this book of greatly inspired writings, Mr. Kahn writes about healing the inner child, innocence, our innocence, and echoes what we've heard before, which is heal your child, your inner child, and you heal yourself. This technique includes role-playing, that we must do to reparent our inner child by becoming its wise and loving guardian. With more attention given to whatever arises, our inner child learns that it doesn't have to be in constant crisis or emotional peril to receive the support that we are willing to offer. At Earth School, the Perfection of Divine Will offers us opportunities to accelerate our healing through a willingness to embrace our heart like a child in pain, our inner child. When we return to love as our primary response to upset, each emotion gives us an invitation to live a more spiritually aligned existence with the source of creation. Perhaps each feeling reminds us of a time in our life when we didn't receive the attention, support, and love that we deeply deserve. If we want to heal old emotional wounds and stop the triggering effects of reactionary responses in our life, then we must become the wise and loving guardians of our inner child, of our child's innocence. We must give the inner child kindness, support, the acceptance and care that allows the influence of human conditioning to be resolved by embracing our feelings with heart-centered attention. We are also helping to dissolve patterns of judgment throughout the collective unconscious. I'd like to introduce you to someone right now. Not Mr. Kahn. I'd like to introduce you to little Arvel. This is 3-year-old little Arvel at Easter with his Easter basket. He has no idea what's going on. This is my inner child. I'd like to tell you a story now. It has 3 characters in it. There's a girl, there's a man, and there's the innocence or the inner child. Now, a man is talking to a girl about the bulletin for this week's service. And a man says to the girl, "The title of my message is wrong. I've changed the title." And a girl asks, "Well, what is the title now?" He says, "Love is always here." She says, "Oh, no, you're not going to read from that book, are you? You're not going to talk the way that guy does and read what he says, because if you do, I'm just going to slit my wrists." A man is shocked by the harshness of a girl's response. And he begins to become aware that emotions are arising. Emotions of hurt, of pain, of anger, resentment, of worry. The innocence has also heard these mean words and is already in full military mode. The innocence has donned a complete metal armor, complete with helmet, sword, and shield. And he is already making commands to put a perimeter around this area, dig deep ditches and build turrets, build towers, so we can defend against further attacks from mean words. And he's also already contemplating the actions of going against his opposition. He's already developing plans to attack. A man is worried because he's pledged fealty to the innocents, to be there to guard and protect the innocents. at all costs. He begins his mantra, whatever arises, love that, whatever arises, love that, whatever arises, love that. But he can find no love, whatever arises, love. He rubs the genie, but no genie comes out. No love comes out of that lamp. A man does not get much sleep that night because the innocence is there in his ear, talking about offensive action. Each one bringing more death and destruction than the last. A man wakes up in the morning, depression is sinking in. So he goes to the innocents. He takes a knee and he says, as the wise, loving guardian that he is, that you know, if you continue with this scorched earth policy that you want to carry out, there'll be a lot of collateral damage. A lot of innocent people will be hurt. But the innocence is unmoved. He's stalwart, he's steadfast. He's got his sword up. He's ready to attack. A man is worried. He's back to his mantra. Whatever arises, love that. Whatever arises, love that. Whatever arises, love that. And nothing is happening. A man is worried because if he goes Sunday morning to talk about whatever arises, love that, and he has not found love, he will be a complete fraud to be talking about that. This is serious. It's like having the President of the United States be a 3-year-old with his hand, his finger on the launch codes of a nuclear arsenal. We have that.
That's what we got.
I'm not mentioning any names. Depression is getting deeper. The man is getting more worried. He needs help. Who can he call for help? He must call the one who gave him the audio books. He gets his cell phone. He calls the man, the guru. The guru answers the phone on Bell Rock, where he's been meditating. A man says, what if I can't find the love? What happens then? The guru says, you must find the pain and go to the pain and love the pain. A man says, the pain is everywhere and it's nowhere. I can't find the pain, it's everywhere. I don't know where to go. I can't find the love. The guru says, you must go to the innocence and love the innocence. So once again, a man goes to the innocence. He puts his sword away. He takes a knee. And as the wise and loving guardian, he says to the innocents, I know you're hurting. I know you're disappointed. I know you have not been feeling the support and attention and belief that you so desire. I know that this was something you felt in the past, and it is coming through your cellular memory now. It's been triggered in us. But I love you. I support you. I believe in you. I know you can find the right words. The words to speak from your heart. I know you can do it. I fully support you and love you, and I'm there for you. The innocence brings his sword down. He bows his head and he puts the sword away. He takes off the helmet and he goes and sits on the knee of the man. And they hug. And then the innocent hops down and stands in front of the man and says, you know what you must do now, don't you? The man stands and says, I do. The innocent says, then go and do what must be done. So a man finds a girl and says, yesterday you hurt the innocents. A girl says, I know, and I'm sorry. And all three of them join hands and live happily ever after. End of story. That's how I found the love. That's how you will find the love. Even if you can't find the love because something is so bad, you can still go to the inner child and love the inner child and let the source of all creation, the source of all love, do the forgiving for you. Loving what arises helps us unearth the greater cosmic picture of our lives. Because everything in our reality seems the way it is so that we can learn to harmonize with the light of divine will. We harmonize with divine will by loving whatever arises. There's no mistakes, only lessons. No wrong choices, only lessons. No judgments, only lessons. With every step forward that we take along a heart-centered path, we are able to realize pivotal lessons and why things emerge to the forefront in our life. The reason is to resolve every conflict that has been stored in cellular memory from childhood on and projected into appearances in the world around us now. But many of us have had problems with being worthy of love, feeling that we are worthy to be loved. Maybe you're only accustomed to hearing words of praise as a sign that you've done something right. It's natural to know how to get to. It's natural to not know how to let encouragement in if we've only been given encouragement as a reward for good behavior. It's also understandable to push away love if it is associated with those that have hurt you. Even if the words, I love you, have been offered by those who have betrayed, hurt, abused, or abandoned you, it is imperative for you to embrace your own innocence, your own inner child, as a way of recognizing that attention doesn't have to lead to pain, manipulation, or rejection. With every tragedy and every insufferable environment that we have lived through, each of us has been given the power to survive. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We can make peace with love, even if we're unwilling to forgive those that have hurt us. It's not uncommon in loving ourselves to have it seem like such a new experience that our subconscious mind has no reference point for it. You see, the subconscious mind is basically made up of two parts: the familiar and the foreign. Easy. So if in your early childhood self-love was a rare occurrence, this heart-centered experience that you might have now gets sent to junk mail, gets sent to the foreign category. But as you begin to love your heart, any lack of authenticity or resonance is simply your subconscious mind's way of saying, you haven't done this before, have you? Every time you love and send your heart love, it gets subconsciously recorded as a vote of familiarity. As I love you becomes one of your most important phrases that you say to yourself and send out as blessings to others, your subconscious mind is rewriting the word love to be recognized as a familiar experience. Over time, what once fell into the category of foreign is now moved over to the category of familiar. When this shift occurs, the subconscious mind gives your body permission to resonate with love as a fully embodied experience of truth. As your subconscious mind becomes more acquainted with love, you are able to sense the validation, safety, and security that you may have thought always needed to come from another person. Now it doesn't. Now it just needs to come from you. Come from the wise and loving guardian. As Matt Kahn says, a new spirituality has dawned. This is a heart-centered journey of infinite joy and endless self-discovery, rooted in the beauty of compassion and anchored by the embodiment of your highest wisdom. No matter what issues you hope to resolve, your objective within this new spirituality isn't to expand awareness with effort, force, and exhaustion. As you say to this heart-centered exploration, I love you. You leap to the forefront of human evolution by understanding that in a universe of endless questions, love is the only answer. Isn't that simple? Love is the only answer. A modern day journey, this is what Matt Kahn says, a modern day spiritual journey is a transition from fearing it all to feeling it all. A set of divinely inspired instructions transmitted by the universe are available to you in 4 words. They reveal that an open heart is the only source of our refuge. These 4 words are whatever arises, love that. By learning how to love what arises, you set aside any tendency to deny, avoid, or fight with the inevitability of life. Transform yourself into a willingness to embrace the ever-changing circumstances of life. It starts with a willingness to love. You can be at the bottom of the barrel, but if you can come up with a willingness to love, you can start to turn your life around. And when you heal yourself, you fulfill the journey by bringing forth the heart-centered consciousness for the well-being of all people. Your path is not just an evolution of one, but the awakening of all expressed through your own expansion. As we become home to a heart-centered consciousness, seeds of transformation become planted in every corner of existence, and as more beings than ever before are awakening to their eternal nature, you are assisting in the spiritual growth and energetic expansion of an entire civilization, just by healing yourself. When you come to realize that underneath it all, love is what you are and all that you've ever wanted, the willingness to accept this truth and assist in the transformation of humanity becomes an essential stage of growth. Finally, I'd like to close with the words of Matt Kahn, who says, in every breath you take, love is always here. Throughout any personal encounter, love is always here. No matter what comes together or is pulled apart, love is always here. In your greatest moment of achievement or in your darkest hour of uncertainty, love is always here. Whether in the aftermath of tragedy or in the presence of your highest triumph, love is always here. When life is flowing, inspired, harmonious, or frustrating, annoying, and painful, love is always here. No matter what you understand or what you figured out, love is always here. Despite your thoughts or what you choose, love is always here. No matter what's been done to you or what you believe you've done to someone else, love is always here. Let's take a moment now to close our eyes and open our hearts and feel all the love that is coming from your heart. I want you to join me in a special prayer to experience the communion with our Creator. Focus your attention on your lungs, as if only your lungs existed. Feel the pleasure when your lungs expand to fulfill the biggest need of the human body, to breathe. Take a deep breath. Feel the air as it fills your lungs. Feel how the air is made of love. Notice the connection between the air and the lungs, the connection of love. Expand your lungs with air until your body has the need to expel the air. Then exhale, feel the pleasure again. If we fulfill any need of the human body, it gives us pleasure. To breathe gives us pleasure. Just to breathe is enough for us to always be happy, to enjoy life. Just to be alive is enough. Feel the pleasure of being alive. The pleasure of the feeling of love.
Well, I didn't know what Arvel was going to talk about today. In my defense, or in support of his words, actually what I said was a whole lot worse, so made it sound nicer than I really was, so I'm surprised we resolved that issue. But thank you all for taking that so well, gosh.
Check. Oh, there we go. And the Reverend Arvel. Can I steal him away and go on the road? He probably wouldn't mind that. Song called The Rhythm of Life, and there's a little sing-along that goes along with it, and it goes like this: we're all in this together. Going right to the chorus is not my easiest thing to do here. You'll get it. Jew, Christian, Hindu, chosen few, temple burning, atheism, burning man, paganism, bugs, bats, birds, cats, trees, fleas, dogs, and rats, childbearing, those without, single, married, gangs and scouts. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. Everybody. All in this together. We're all in this together. All in this together. We're all in this together. We're all in this. We're all in this. The rhythm of life. Rhythm of life. touchy feelers, snowmobilers, four-wheelers, littlest bikes, queens and clerks, unemployed and those who work, freedom fighters, yoga teachers, armadillos, forest creatures, walkers, skippers, swimmers, runners, saints, sinners, singers and drummers, all in this together, all in this together, all in this together, all in this together, check it out now, all in this together, we're all in this together, we're all in this, we're all in this, the rhythm of life, rhythm of life, rhythm of life. Joe Venuti would be very proud. Village people, city dwellers, country folk, gals and fellas, LGBT, straight, tolerate, love and hate, clueless, jeans, black, yellow, white, brown, red, stars, Mars, Venus, gas, pure, tainted, living, dead. Public supported, local imported, completion aborted, clean, distorted, friends and enemies, women and men, heaven and hell, beginning and end, the rich, the poor, the meek and the proud, the land, the air, the sea and the clouds, the future, the past, the here and the now. Say it inside, say it out loud, we're all in this together, all in this together, we're all in this together, we're all in this together. All in this together, we're all in this together, we're all in this, we're all in this, rhythm of life, 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 rhythm of life. Rhythm of life, rhythm of life, rhythm of life, rhythm of life.
Awesome. Now, while you're standing, let's hold hands and say our prayer of protection. All right. Thank you again, everybody. This has been a fabulous day. Because of you are the center of universal light. Everybody, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we